This is Las Vegas Real Estate Now, where we bring you the 3 E's: educate, empower, and engage. I'm your host, Harvey Blankfeld, and we've been selling homes here in Southern Nevada since 1988. We're also very proud to be part of the Real Estate Radio Network. That is a national network of local real estate professionals delivering timely, balanced truths about local market conditions. Also with us today, we have Kari Phillips. She's with Alpine Mortgage Planning, soon to be RateWise Mortgage, and her NMLS number is 309701. You've been doing this mortgage stuff for 18 years, master's in business administration, bachelor's in marketing. When we talk about pre-qualify a person, and this is something we talk about a lot. As we talk with buyers, we talk about pre-qualifying them or pre-approving them or what we're doing. Tell us what are the levels of qualification that we can attain for a buyer, and why would we bother doing so much or so little? What's the best way to go about this?
Well, it's hilarious when I hear of people going to look at houses and then coming to me, because you have to figure out what you can buy before you emotionally get attached, or how do you know what the payment's going to be? How do you know how much money you need in the bank? So the first thing, in my opinion, that anybody should do before they start looking for a home is to see what you qualify for. Take an application with a mortgage loan officer. A mortgage loan officer takes a mortgage app, they run their credit, and they say, okay, Mr. Borrower, if you can prove what you have just told me, you are pre-qualified. This will give you an idea of what you qualify for. That's just the bare minimum that somebody can do before they start house shopping. In my opinion, it's not enough. It's not enough. My group that I lead, we collect the income documentation, we collect the asset documentation, we do a verification of employment all up front before you start looking. So the bare minimum is the pre-qual, taking the application, but the next step is to gather the conditions, and that's what's called a TBD approval, to be determined property addressed, an approval basically that says, hey, you've given me the income docs, everything is good, we've turned it into underwriting, and the underwriter has given us a conditional loan approval and said income checks out. So when we get a conditional approval from an underwriter with a TBD address, a to be determined property address, there are conditions on there that involve the borrower. Letters of explanation are needed, maybe tax proof of a house they own back east or whatever that is. What we do is we take all the borrower conditions that are on that underwritten approval, and we have the borrower supply all the conditions at that point, even before contract. We turn that back into the underwriter, and then the underwriter gives us what's called a C.O.A, a collateral-only approval. So the only conditions that are needed are the collateral conditions, and that file is good for 120 days. The client doesn't have to give us another pay stub. They don't have to give us another bank statement.
And many times today, because a lot of houses out there are overpriced, the ones that are priced right end up with multiple offers. And so if I've got a buyer who's got this C.O.A, who just needs the house and can close in a quick manner, and you give us that type of documentation. If I'm a listing agent, I'm looking at several offers, or I'm a seller, I'm looking at several, I'm liking that. That beats everything else right off the bat. If I'm a seller and I get 2 offers and I'm comparing these offers, which again often happens these days, and I see someone's approved up to $500,000, but my house is only $425,000, it doesn't mean that they're going to pay me $500,000, but it means they're approved to that. It means that they're a strong buyer. They've already gone through this process, and I feel good about it. So I think that putting the cart before the horse here, so to speak, is really important, and I like the way you approach it.
You've been listening to Las Vegas Real Estate Now with host Harvey Blankfeld. Please tune in every Saturday at 11 a.m. right here on News Talk 720 KDWN.